Many people think that my kind are loners, and I don't blame them for thinking that. The few of us around are mostly scholars, and we're always chasing our research, so you'd be lucky to spy a single tuft of tail fur in a whole year. Like my father, for example. He's an entomologist, and lately he's been studying the evolution of beetles in the desert. I have no intention of joining him. I'm ashamed to admit that I don't tolerate the sun very well. Prolonged exposure turns my brain and body into mush. Are we officially friends? What, so this sort of thing needs official documentation now? Okay then. Well, hand over your friendship certificate. I assume it'll need my signature. I remember praying as a kid that if I were lucky enough to receive a vision, it had to be a Dendro one. It wasn't because of research. I just wanted to make a vine ladder to reach high-hanging fruit. Don't worry about Carcata. I told the Matra I know that it's my research assistant. If anyone wants to do anything to it, they'll need to go through me. Since you seem to care a lot about Carcata, why don't you enroll in some courses at the Spantama Darshan? That way you can care for it even if I'm gone. When that child was first brought here, she was effectively illiterate. It wasn't a huge issue, though. She's a hard worker and a diligent student, so she's made good progress. Still, her goal is to learn advanced medical techniques, so she still has a long way to go. She sometimes puts too much pressure on herself. Help her out when you can, would you? Consider it a favor for me as her mentor. Thanks a lot. You want to see Cyno? Well, firstly, a word of caution. If he ever comes chasing you down for work-related reasons, prepare for the nightmare of a lifetime. Other than that, General Mahamatra is a high-ranking position, so it usually isn't easy to find him. But he does occasionally go to Gandharvaville to see Collei. As much as he might want to stay unnoticed, he can't fool my ears. Be careful of Alhaitham. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but he purely operates by rationality, so people often find his actions unacceptable. If you don't believe me, just ask his housemate. Thanks to Alhaitham, he has more pent-up frustration than an angry animo slime. Kaveh is a famous architect in Sumeru. The Palace of Alcazarzaray is his magnum opus. During the initial planning, he even asked me to recommend suitable ornamental flora. I don't know why or how, but he ended up heavily in debt after the palace was completed. Alhaitham is helping out by letting him stay in his place, but I don't know whether that's a blessing or a curse. The renowned Lord Sangama Bey is none other than Dory. I became acquainted with her through a previous research project. It had required very rare materials, and the only way I could get them was through her and her mysterious supply network. Never you mind what I was buying and what I was researching, thank you very much. Cyno has mentioned her before. An extraordinary genius with a veritable wealth of knowledge and talent. A pity that she returned to Mondstadt so long ago. Perhaps in the course of her studies, she witnessed the horrifying side of knowledge. As a student, I once heard this saying, plants in the land of Dendro share the same history. It could just be one of those things that people say, but I've always felt there's a deeper meaning to those words. If I meet Lesser Lord Kusanali one day, I wonder if she would explain them to me. Sometimes I really do envy those simpletons who go around touching and eating anything and everything. In their minds, it must feel like miracles happen every day. To better serve the Avidya forest, I occasionally offer training courses to the forest rangers. If you want to split hairs, then yes, these courses would be considered as dissemination of information by the academia. But what are they going to do? Lock me up? I dare them. We'll see how many patients suffering from weird and wonderful ailments start flooding into the Bimarstan every day. I'll let you in on a secret. I actually really like the atmosphere in the Grand Bazaar. Business is booming, everyone's so lively, and the theater is full of song and dance. Unfortunately, My ears don't tolerate loud sounds very well. Eh? You'll cover my ears for me? Nah, it'd be way too hard to walk like that. Thanks for the thought, though. I had many beautiful and fantastical dreams as a child, but they vanished from my memory one day after I grew up. Do you still have dreams? Tell me about them. Troubles? Let me think. Pollution in the Avidya forest, adventurers who constantly stir up trouble, and rescue dogs that always want to mess with my tail. But these problems all have solutions. If you're talking about bigger concerns, then I really don't have any. In this regard, the life of a forest watcher is pretty simple. Germinating seeds break through the soil and take root. Seedlings grow, reaching out with their branches and leaves. Branches, dotted with flower buds, herald the advent of spring. A rich harvest that will lead to even richer ones.